it's going to give me the docking screen here, and I'm facing the wrong way. So let's go ahead and fix this. So this is the distance to the other ship. This is your, I guess, which way you're looking. This is the other ship's airlock. And what you want to do is keep it on track. So it's much like as a barotrauma with the submarine element. Very similar to that, right? So you just you can give it a little push. You're going 69. You're meant to keep it under 100. You can give it a little bit of an acceleration to speed this up. But essentially, you just want to be getting close enough to, you can see they're warning now for over 100. So let's slow this down. We're getting close. Right, leave it about 56 here while we just line up these clamps and connect in a second. Ready? Now, so what we've done there is we've gone from the original dock port where you start off to now a derelict. So first derelict, what we're going to do here, have a quick look, see what we've got to work with, and then we'll salvage what we can and bring it back to the OKLG ship, or I believe that's what it's called, OKLG, yeah. So before you go out, make sure you take your, so this is what I normally use the toolbox for. Inventory keeps my overalls and my shoes in a nice easy place to remember. Throw on my spacesuit. Here's my clip point. So this is the extra clips that I can throw my tools onto so that they help with my inventory management. Throw my torch in hand, turn that on. Throw my stand up here, and let's throw my space helmet on. Right, now the little nav pad I'm going to go ahead and put in here. Oh, sorry. Let's take my helmet back off for a sec. I'm going to go ahead and put this PDA in here and take the bag back out. More space, easier to work with, carry more stuff. Right. Now, with the extra space, let's go back, have a look what we've got here at the derelict. So throw our helmet on. Let's go have a look. Now what you want to do is let these doors close behind you. As you can imagine, like any vacuum, it's going to suck the oxygen from your compartment here and the other gases into here. And when you open the airlock, this is obviously going to become vacuumed if you're coming into a vacuum, right? So be careful with your walking through the airlock element. Give it a second, let it close, as you can imagine. And when you walk through, you can see, right, there's compartment, right? This is literally just a vacuum, temperature, gas, but like there's nothing out here, right? There's KPA, you can see 00. Whereas if I go back in here, compartment, KPA and the kgs all here, right? So make sure that you are giving adequate time for the doors, both the airlock and the actual door into your ship, enough time to go ahead and close. Now, I leave the inventory open, makes it easy, I guess. The ground I always keep open as well because you'll see scrap aluminium here. Throw that into my inventory. And you can have a look around. So if I turn this off, you're going to see it's pitch black, very difficult to see. So what we've got to work with here is I can see some pumps. Right click, it's going to show you the condition. You can press X, that will also do it. That will turn back on the kind of the damage. Now this is quite a big derelict. Normally you get quite a small one, but we're lucky enough to have quite a large one first time. I say lucky, I don't really have a way to kind of transport stuff back, so we can see. But you can see the different types, right? This turbo air pump, 2.5. This canister, 53. So it's actually a trait that my character has, where I can precise value the item, right? Normally you just see dollar marks. what I see now, this is the first time I've seen it as well, where I'm getting an exact figure. So this makes it very easy to be able to figure out what's worth taking and what's worth leaving, right? But you have a walk around. There's always look at the walls. You'll see bins. Let's have a look in the inventory for this. Let's pull it up over here. So a bit of food, lovely. We need a bit of food in our life always. Some cigarettes which we will sell. Dirty, dirty, dirty. So let's get rid of them. And a t-shirt, right? So stuff like this I can throw into the likes of this bag, or I can throw into different places. I'll come back for the t-shirt maybe, but you can always disassemble these, or you can go ahead and uninstall them. And when you do, you can bring them into your ship and then install them on the walls and give yourself more storage. So really, a really interesting way to kind of play the game is to, well, I guess, maximize what you can get, right, from each individual ship you go to. So you can see out here, there's quite a lot of debris. Still goes on quite a bit, which is actually one of the biggest derelicts I've found in quite some time. So in all of my runs, this is the largest derelict I've found so far. So you've got these locked cases. That one wasn't locked, and neither was that one. Sometimes they can be locked, but you can go ahead and use your PA to access the lock, for example, right? Hack it with your PA or PDA. It'll throw up the pin, and then you can reset it to factory, put the pin in, or lock it, right? So if you don't want to be taking it out or losing anything. Now, these canisters that I spoke about before, a really good way to kind of give you an insight as to what to look out for in the early game to make easy cash is these are one space wide, and like you seen earlier on, that pump was about the same value, and it was 3 spaces wide. Now, their value is massively determined by what's sitting in the canister, right? So if you see here, this O2 canister is 166, it's valued at 22, whereas this one is 316 and it's nearly double. It's actually just over double. So make sure if you're prioritizing space against what you want derelict salvage value, they're really good value for money in terms of space that they take up, and early game they can be sold to the scrap vendor without a trader license. So it's a really easy win in the early game now. So I'm just going to have a quick walk around. I'm not in a massive rush to just, as you can see here, look 700 because it's got only 106 kg. So have a walk around, see what we've got floating around in this derelict. Nothing in that. Um, some more containers. Right, you can see there some loose walls, some loose floors. Now it doesn't look like the type of derelict that you're gonna be able to repair, especially not in the early game. A lot of damage, a lot of damage, quite a few missing floors, walls, right? So I'm sure it would definitely be possible. So that's something that you can absolutely do in this game is now clean scrap cloth, box of anti-nausea pills. So there's medicines, there's different types of conditions you're going to come across, right? So it's just it's quite a lot. There's a lot in this game, which surprised me. There is quite a lot in the game, and I've only just gotten a couple of days in, So when I look at it, there's quite a lot of things to kind of to consider. Took a little bit of a while to kind of get up to speed on how everything works, but it started to come together quite easily now. So as you can see here, this harness suit has a lot of different extra pockets, right? Cargo, pocket clip, cargo, and hip. So this is like, you know, three, like 6 times the amount of storage that my normal spacesuit has. Now, whether or not that's only for, right, so it's not a spacesuit. So you see PS suit, right? So This is not a PS or a spacesuit. It's literally just clothing. So that will be really helpful when you're, taking your scrap and your bits and pieces to sell. So really interesting that they have loads of different types of clothes. Interesting that they've got loads of different types of items to work with, and each has their own kind of special elements. So when it comes to repairing your, I guess, your ship, so stuff breaks. It will break over time, happens, right? So you might get hit by something, or you might crash into something, or it happens, right? So the likes of batteries, doors, they might need a motor or a motherboard, but these components, heat sinks, motherboards, motors, get them, hoard them, I guess. They are really useful to have, mainly because they keep you alive when something breaks. If you can't fix it, it's happened to me a couple of times where a battery ran out, but I didn't have the parts to repair a second battery that had charge. Because of that, and I was already on a derelict, so because of that, I now learned to check your battery stats. So you can see the green bar there. Always check and keep an eye on your ship battery, because if that's gone, you ain't getting home. So you're on your own. So it's a really good way to just keep on top of it. Like, there's a lot of different things to kind of keep on top of, which what makes it kind of interesting, more interesting. And just like every other game in this kind of genre, when you go to your PDA home, right, and you go to zones, you can go ahead and create different types of zones, like zone types. You can go ahead and just select a small section and make it a haul zone or a storage zone. So a lot you can do. Now, as you can see, a lot of damage. It's not a derelict I'd be looking to fix, but the beauty of this is, for example, you could fix this derelict, right? You can completely fix this derelict with the stuff that you have on your ship. You could uninstall it from your ship, put it in here, and get this ship up and running, and then take it. Now, like you seen at the start of the stream or the video, what happens is you get a little prompt that says that you're not really the owner, right? And you have to go and visit this booth to fix that issue. But if it's a derelict ship, I believe you have to pay to have it. But you can go ahead and like you can start making steps to, if you like the ship, start making steps to kind of to be able to take it, bring your ship back, buy the derelict license for the ship, and then go back and just take it. So yeah, so what will happen is if you take it without a permit, you'll see here criminal activity, basically taking a derelict that's not yours, right? Strange. I thought that wouldn't make too much of a difference, but yeah, it kind of is it's seen as a criminal activity in itself, right? So just one to keep in mind. Now, this is in really bad condition, but it's a $400 drill. That much I know. Well, that's now worth 40. But it has a battery, which I want. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that, because that I can live with. Whether or not I want the actual drill or not, I'm not too sure. I'll just take the whole thing, I guess. But again, a lot of different things to be looking at. That's a really bet up motor and a really bet up screwdriver. So there's a lot of different places to be looking on this particular ship. Normally, like I said, they're not this big. Electrical parts, always good to have. Scrap metal, all that kind of stuff is good for repairing your ship if you ever take damage. And here we can see, now this is where we're going to start to get to the parts of the ship that would need to be like damaged, right? So repaired fully so that you can start to get it back to normal, get it functional. So we can see here the CO2 alarm's actually powered, it looks like.